So good afternoon, welcome back to the farm. I'm currently sat in our goat barn because this was initially built for goats. Aries just happened to come along before the goats did, and I'm with one of our newest additions. There are two new additions. They're goats. We've got two milking nannies, currently not in milk, but we will be putting them to kid in autumn. And they came from a wonderful, wonderful place in Devon. Absolutely stunning rural setting, just fields and trees as far as the eye could see. And this lady was downsizing her livestock, and for various reasons they basically didn't have the time for one of these doe kids, who's now a goatling, and so we're having to do a lot of goat whispering, as I like to call it. I used to do it with horses initially, and the same principles do apply. So we have here Violet. So Violet, I think, is about 2. Are you 2? I think she's about 2. And the reason she's in here is because she's acting quite wild. And it was fine travelling with her and June. She was great with her mum, but she was using her mum like almost like a meat shield. You know, you couldn't get close to her, and it almost had to be quite a sudden, just grab her when you can and go kind of situation in the field if we needed to check them. So they've been here for 24 hours, and this morning something nearly happened which almost could have put her own life at risk. I came down this morning to give everyone their feeds. June came up to the bucket when I called her. She was absolutely amazing. She's a very calm goat, and Violet stayed put at the bottom of the pasture and wouldn't come up. And I was checking June's feet over. She was absolutely fine. Checked Aries, fed him, did the ducks, chickens, checked my bees. Everything was good. Came down again with a bucket for Violet. I managed to get pretty much within 20 feet and she just went bonkers. And she was running round the field, and I was trying to stay put and just trying to move her very steadily just up the pasture so I could get her to somewhere where I could actually handle her. And she tried to scale a barbed wire fence. There's barbed wire on part of our stock fencing, and it could have really gone quite badly. She's not hurt, luckily. There's nothing actually happened, but just the way she was behaving, I thought, right, that's it, we've got to nip this in the bud. So sometimes you get kids who don't get enough handling when they're young, and it can be for various reasons. With our lovely previous owner, she just didn't have the time, and they've got young grandchildren. A lot was going on behind the scenes, and unfortunately Violet didn't get enough time around people. And the only time she did get around people were when the vets were coming, or she had to have her feet trimmed. Now, she doesn't understand that these are necessities, that they are in terms beneficial for her own well-being. To her, they're just uncomfortable things. So personally, for Violet, she associates humans with discomfort, and so she'll do her utmost to avoid them. So me going down with a bucket, she didn't associate it with a nice thing. She thought something nasty was going to happen, panicked, and nearly hurt yourself today, didn't you, sweets? So this is when I took the decision to separate her and put her in this barn. She was winding June up. June is very calm with people normally. She's absolutely fine. June's outside, just beyond this wall. They can see each other, they can hear each other. There's hay on both sides, so they can literally stand and eat together. She's got water in here, but it just means that the chase drive for her, the prey instinct, has been removed. I can come in here and I can sit down, and she's not thinking about panicking. She hasn't got the distance to run, and everything is much calmer. And honestly, as soon as I did this, the calmness just was restored. So this isn't a permanent feature. We're not going to keep Violet in here for as long as we absolutely have to. We reckon it'll probably be about 2 weeks of just sitting in here. So I'm going to explain what I'm doing. I'm locked in. Kate's locked me in from the outside, and I'm just sat right in the middle of the barn. So there's equal distances on both sides of me, and I'm just watching Violet's body language right now. So I'm quite happy to see she's not as backed up into a corner as she was before. Like, she would really make herself very small. She was very, very fearful. She would freeze up, which is a goat's response to basically, I'm going to die, there's a predator. So as soon as I came in, I made myself very small, so I'm not initiating her prey instinct. I'm not showing any predatory signs towards her at all, and I'm just sat very comfortably. I've got a little pot of grass nuts and some oats, so really tasty treats. There's even a couple of little raisins in there. They can have them as a treat, but not too often. So really tasty stuff. And all I'm doing is what I would do with a nervous horse. So I have had horses come to me who are nervous, and the best way to do it, make sure they're in a space that you can control the situation, where there's no chasing or cornering of them. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to put my hand out, let her sniff, good girl, and remove my hand. And this is the only amount of pressure that I'm offering. I'm just sat, I'm not going to move at all. And I'm just going to put my hand out again. I'm just going to touch her. Good girl. And now, because she's allowed that, I'm going to give her a treat. So now she's got something to think about. She's probably thinking at the moment, that could have been uncomfortable, I'm still on guard. But instead, she got touched very gently and she got a treat. Now, this is only day one. I don't want to be getting in a space too much. I don't want to be putting too much pressure on. I'm just going to put my hand out again. Good girl. Little wiggle of my finger just to give her a stroke. That snort is discomfort. So she's like, I'm not sure about that. But still, because she allowed me into a space, I'm going to offer my hand with some treats. Good girl. And remove the pressure. So my hand is away from her now. So there is at least 3 foot, 3.5 foot of distance between us, and there's 3 foot, 3.5 foot of distance on the other side. So if she wants to move, she can go past me and she can stand on the other side. She's choosing to stay put, and I'm quite happy with what I'm seeing. I have watched quite a few videos of taming skittish goats. She's not particularly the worst. She was bad out, but we had quite a large pasture, so she could just run and hog the fence line, and she was finding a way out of the fence line. So she eventually jumped over a barrier that we had up, nearly caught a leg. I was quite worried about her. She was fine, but she ended up where she shouldn't be, so I had to slowly bring her back down. Used her mum as sort of encouragement to come back down. When she did, I brought her straight in the barn. I don't want her in that position where she can just run all the time from me. I need her to understand I'm not a threat. I'm here to be helpful, to look after her. I want her to associate me with food and treats. I'd rather that. I don't mind her being in my pocket. Some people don't like it. I don't mind. Good girl. Little chin scratch. Excellent. So she's moving ahead. She's not frozen up. If she was frozen up, she would be in full prey mode. She'd be thinking I'm about to die. She's not showing any of that, so I'm quite confident. Looking at what other people have had to do, particularly patgoats.com on YouTube. It took him about 2 to 3 weeks of just solid work with them, as I'm doing here. 30 minutes to an hour a day, just sat in the stall with them. And it's like a gentle forcing. You're basically saying, this is who I am. I'm in your space. You can't run, but everything's going to be calm. I've got food. You're safe. And that way she's starting to understand that the connection between humans and discomfort isn't really there anymore. Hopefully, within 2 weeks, we should see some progress. I should be able to touch her a lot more sort of confidently. And at that point, we'll put a halter on her. We've got a specific goat halter. And we'll start taking her out onto the pasture on a lead. So we've still got the control there. She can't just run off and bolt. We can bring her back in here after that time out and still maintain the control. And then we'll start introducing bucket calling. So she'll be on the halter with a long lead, and we call her with a bucket. When she comes, she gets the treats. So you can see where we're starting. There are big steps to take. And unfortunately, it is an uphill struggle. I mean, she's a bit older than what we'd like to really start with. But no, this is very promising. I mean, she's not freaking out. She's not shaking. She's just like, what are you doing in here? But we'll see. To those of you who aren't sure really if this is the right thing to do, it is. So even with horses, you don't leave a skittish horse out on a large area where you can't control the situation. You have to reduce the space so that she's comfortable, or he. And I had a pony that was very much like this, and we had to reduce the space so we could control the situation and basically get them used to it. But here we are. So I'm going to keep us updated on what's happening with Violet, and I will introduce June. Kate's just currently walking her around the pasture with some grass nuts and some grass, and June is very, very calm. It's not stressing her out at all. You know, Violet is fully weaned, and they can see each other through the window, so we're trying to do things as calmly as possible, and this is the best thing at the moment. But yes, we will keep you updated and keep ourselves updated with everything, and please continue to like and subscribe and to support us, and we will definitely keep you up to date with all the Violet news and June news.